Imagine standing at the counter of a local gun shop, glass cases stretching down the wall, price tags climbing higher the further you walk. A lot of people stop there, assuming serious defensive pistols live in the 4-digit range, and that anything cheaper must be a gamble. But the real world does not work that way. Across the country, millions of ordinary Americans carry handguns every single day that cost less than $300. These are not novelty guns or desperation purchases. They are tools that get loaded, holstered, and trusted when things go sideways. This countdown is about that reality. It is about pistols built for working people who want reliability first, comfort second, and ego somewhere near the bottom of the list. By the end of this list, one thing should be clear. Budget does not mean unsafe, and affordable does not mean disposable. Smith & Wesson SD9VE opens this list as a pistol that has never tried to impress anyone at first glance. And that restraint is exactly why it has endured. The SD9VE is the result of a long internal evolution inside Smith & Wesson that began during the company's early polymer striker era, when the priority was not refinement or marketing appeal, but simplifying the striker-fired system and making it tougher, more forgiving, and easier to produce at scale. Chambered in 9mm, the SD9VE is built on a full-size polymer frame with a steel slide, feeding from 16-round magazines that place it squarely in duty pistol territory despite its budget pricing. Overall length sits at roughly 7.5 inches, paired with a barrel just over 4 inches and an unloaded weight in the low 20-ounce range, which gives the gun enough mass to absorb recoil without feeling sluggish or oversized. That physical balance plays a major role in how the SD9VE shoots, because recoil impulse comes straight back into the hand instead of snapping upward, allowing new shooters and experienced shooters alike to keep sights aligned during controlled strings. Reliability is the foundation of its reputation, and it is where the SD9VE quietly earns its keep. Owners regularly report that it runs straight out of the box with minimal preparation, cycling inexpensive range ammunition, steel case loads, and common defensive rounds without sensitivity to bullet shape or pressure. The internal geometry favors generous tolerances, with robust slide rails, a simple locking system, and parts that are intentionally overbuilt rather than finely tuned. Ergonomics follow the same philosophy. The grip angle feels familiar. The circumference fills the hand without forcing finger stretch, and the grip texture is aggressive enough to stay locked in place when hands are wet, sweaty, or gloved, while remaining comfortable during longer practice sessions. During recoil, the full-size grip and longer slide give the pistol a planted, predictable feel that encourages confidence rather than speed chasing. The compromises are obvious and honest. The trigger typically breaks around 8 pounds, with a long, deliberate pull that feels heavy compared to modern striker fire designs, and the reset lacks the crispness enthusiasts often chase. The slide stop can also feel stiff until the gun has been properly broken in through regular use. These characteristics are not accidents. They reflect design decisions that prioritize durability, liability tolerance, and consistency over refinement. For shooters willing to adapt to the trigger instead of fighting it, the SD9VE rewards an adjustment with performance that remains unchanged over high round counts. It is not a pistol that dazzles in the first magazine or wins internet arguments. It is a pistol that builds trust slowly through repetition and uneventful range sessions. Current street pricing typically hovers around $300 and sometimes dips below, making it one of the most accessible full-size defensive pistols on the market. That price point explains much of its real-world presence. The SD9VE is not a status symbol, not a range toy, and not a platform people endlessly modify. It is a tool purchased by people who want something that works, stays working, and does not demand attention. Its reputation reflects that reality. People do not brag about owning one, they do not romanticize it, and they rarely sell it out of disappointment. They load it, carry it, leave it by the bed, and trust it to do its job. In the defensive handgun world, where reliability matters more than excitement, that kind of quiet, long-term confidence is exactly what keeps a pistol relevant long after trends move on. Bersa BP9CC earns its place here as a pistol that built trust quietly, long before the market became obsessed with ultra-high-capacity micro-compacts. Designed and manufactured in Argentina, the BP9CC was conceived around one core idea: making a pistol that people could actually carry all day without constantly adjusting clothing, holsters, or expectations. Chambered in 9mm, it uses a slim, single-stack magazine holding 8 rounds, a number that may look modest on paper, but makes sense once you understand the design priorities behind the gun. Overall width stays just under 1 inch, and that thin profile is immediately noticeable the moment it goes on the belt. Overall length lands in the low 6-inch range, paired with a barrel just over 3 inches, keeping the slide short enough to conceal while still offering usable sight radius. Unloaded weight sits around 21 ounces, light enough to avoid fatigue over long days, but heavy enough to keep recoil manageable. That balance is where the BP9CC separates itself from many budget carry pistols. On the range, recoil comes back in a straight, controlled impulse instead of a sharp snap, allowing shooters to stay on target during rapid follow-up shots at realistic defensive distances. One of the most consistently praised aspects of the BP9CC is its striker fire trigger. For a pistol in this price range, the trigger offers a surprisingly smooth take-up and a clean, predictable break, which helps shooters maintain accuracy without fighting the gun. Early production runs did experience some reliability issues, largely tied to manufacturing refinements and quality control, but later examples showed significant improvement. Shooters who properly cleaned and lubricated the pistol before use routinely reported hundreds of rounds fired without malfunctions, even when using inexpensive range ammunition. Internally, the design favors simplicity and straightforward geometry rather than complex systems, which contributes to its long-term durability when maintained. Ergonomics reflect the pistol's carry-first philosophy. The grip is slim but not awkward, with enough surface area to establish a secure firing grip without forcing the hand into uncomfortable angles. Controls are low profile, reducing the chance of snagging during draw while still remaining accessible. The slide mass and spring rates are tuned to keep cycling smooth without feeling sluggish, and the sights, while basic, are usable and well regulated for defensive distances. What truly defines the BP9CC is how deliberately it ignores trends. It was not designed to win spec sheet comparisons or internet arguments. It was designed around real clothing, real waistlines, and real daily movement. That intent shows in how easily it disappears under a waistband, how naturally it draws from concealment, and how little attention it demands once carried. In a world where many pistols feel optimized for ideal conditions rather than real life, the BP9CC feels refreshingly grounded. Current street prices often dip into the high $200 range, placing it firmly within reach of budget-conscious buyers without feeling like a compromise tool. For shooters who prioritize comfort, trigger quality, and consistent shootability over capacity races and trend chasing, the Bersa BP9CC represents a thoughtful, proven option that earned its reputation the slow way, through daily carry and quiet reliability rather than marketing noise. Canik TP9SA shifts the tone of this list by proving that full-size dimensions and serious firepower do not have to come with a premium price tag. Built in Turkey and designed with a duty-oriented mindset, the TP9SA arrives as a complete, ready-to-run package rather than a bare pistol that immediately asks for upgrades. Chambered in 9mm, it feeds from 18-round magazines and uses a full-size polymer frame that fills the hand in a way many budget pistols simply do not. Overall length sits just over 8 inches, with a barrel measuring approximately 4.5 inches, giving the slide enough mass and travel to smooth out recoil and maintain consistent cycling. Unloaded weight lands in the mid-20-ounce range, which helps the pistol stay planted during firing without feeling excessively heavy for home defense or range use. That physical scale plays directly into how the TP9SA shoots. Recoil impulse is soft and predictable, muzzle rise is modest, and follow-up shots come naturally even during longer-range sessions. One of the most talked-about features of the TP9SA is its trigger, and that reputation is well-earned. For a striker-fired pistol in this price bracket, the trigger breaks cleanly at around 4 pounds with minimal creep, allowing shooters to press through shots without fighting a heavy or gritty pull. That trigger feel alone often surprises first-time shooters who expect compromise at this cost. Reliability tends to follow a consistent pattern. Many reports note a short break-in period, sometimes within the first magazine or two, after which the pistol settles into smooth, consistent operation. Once broken in, the TP9SA has shown the ability to cycle a wide range of ammunition, from inexpensive range loads to standard defensive rounds, without becoming finicky. Internally, the design favors robustness over refinement, with solid slide rails, a straightforward locking system, and generous tolerances that support longevity. Ergonomics are another strong point. The grip shape is neutral and comfortable, and the included interchangeable backstraps allow shooters to fine-tune fit without aftermarket parts. The texturing is effective without being abrasive, providing control during rapid fire while remaining comfortable for extended use. Controls are large enough to manipulate easily, but not oversized to the point of snagging. The most distinctive design choice is the slide-mounted decocker, a feature that feels unusual on a striker-fired pistol and often sparks debate. In practical terms, it offers a functional advantage by allowing the pistol to be field stripped without pulling the trigger, a detail that gives newer owners additional confidence during maintenance and reduces the chance of negligent handling. The TP9SA also includes practical extras, such as a basic holster and cleaning tools, reinforcing the idea that it is meant to be used, not accessorized endlessly. Current real-world pricing frequently hovers near, or just under $300, placing the TP9SA in a category few competitors it can match when size, capacity, trigger quality, and overall shootability are considered together. It is not a pistol designed to be slim or discreet, and concealed carry requires planning. But as a home defense handgun or range workhorse, it delivers performance that feels closer to much more expensive European duty pistols. The TP9SA stands as proof that when manufacturers focus on fundamentals rather than branding, full-size capability does not have to come with full-size cost. Ruger EC9S arrives on this list as a pistol built around a philosophy that often gets overlooked in modern handgun design. The idea that fewer parts and fewer features can translate directly into fewer problems over the long run. Developed as a streamlined and more affordable sibling to the LC9, the EC9S was never meant to impress on a spec sheet or win attention online. It was designed to be carried, used, and largely forgotten until needed. Chambered in 9mm, the EC9S uses a slim single-stack magazine holding 7 rounds, paired with a compact polymer frame that measures just under 1 inch wide and keeps overall bulk to a minimum. Overall length sits a little over 6 inches, with a barrel measuring approximately 3.12 inches and an unloaded weight hovering around 17 ounces. Those dimensions place it squarely in the lightweight concealed carry category, where comfort and consistency matter more than capacity bragging rights. In the hand, the EC9S feels simple but intentional. The grip circumference is modest, allowing shooters with smaller hands to establish a solid firing grip, while still giving enough surface area for control during recoil. Ruger made deliberate choices to keep costs down without sacrificing reliability. The sights are integral to the slide rather than dovetailed, eliminating an extra machining step and removing a potential failure point if the pistol gets bumped or knocked during daily carry. The slide itself is straightforward and utilitarian, paired with an internal layout that favors durability and ease of production over refinement. On the range, the EC9S has earned a reputation for being quietly dependable. Shooters frequently describe it as boringly reliable, a phrase that carries real weight in the defensive handgun world. It tends to run without complaint on a wide range of ammunition, from inexpensive practice loads to common defensive rounds, without requiring constant tuning or break-in rituals. Recoil is predictable for a pistol of its size, not soft, but manageable, and the slide tracks consistently enough to allow accurate follow-up shots at realistic defensive distances. The trigger is serviceable rather than refined, with a longer pull that encourages deliberate shooting and reduces the likelihood of unintentional discharges under stress. That character fits the pistol's intended role. In daily carry, the EC9S excels where it matters most. Its thin profile allows it to disappear under light clothing, even in minimalist holsters, and its light weight keeps it from dragging down a belt over long hours. It is comfortable enough that owners are more likely to actually carry it rather than leave it behind. That practicality is reflected in the kind of shooters the EC9S attracts. This is not a pistol commonly bought by people chasing trends or planning future upgrades. It is chosen by people who want something simple, reliable, and easy to live with every single day. Current street pricing typically lands well below $300, reinforcing its role as an honest working-class carry gun rather than a luxury purchase. The EC9S does not ask for attention, customization, or justification. It exists to solve a specific problem, providing dependable defensive capability in a package that stays out of the way until it is needed. In a market crowded with feature-heavy designs and constant updates, the Ruger EC9S stands as a reminder that restraint, simplicity, and consistency still matter, especially for people who actually carry a pistol instead of just talking about it. Smith & Wesson M&P Shield Gen 1 steps into this list as one of the most influential pistols of the modern concealed carry era, a handgun that quietly reshaped what people expected from an everyday carry sidearm. When the original Shield first appeared, it landed at exactly the right moment, offering a balance of size, shootability, and manufacturer support that very few pistols managed to achieve at the time. Chambered in 9mm, the Gen 1 Shield uses single-stack magazines holding 7 or 8 rounds, paired with a slim polymer frame that stays just under 1 inch wide. Overall length sits around 6¼ inches, with a barrel measuring roughly 3.1 inches and an unloaded weight in the neighborhood of 19 ounces, dimensions that made it immediately attractive to people who wanted a pistol that could be carried comfortably all day without sacrificing control. In the hand, the Shield feels purpose-built rather than compromised. The grip length allows a solid firing grip for most shooters, especially with the extended magazine, while the grip angle promotes a natural point of aim that translates into intuitive shooting under stress. During recoil, the pistol behaves in a controlled and predictable way, with enough mass in the slide to prevent the snappy feel common in lighter micro pistols. The trigger on the Gen 1 Shield is often described as soft or spongy compared to newer striker fire designs, with a longer take-up and a less defined break, but that characteristic never stopped the Shield from earning trust. Reliability has always been its strongest trait. Over years of widespread adoption, the Shield developed a reputation for running consistently across a broad range of ammunition, from inexpensive range loads to defensive rounds, without demanding constant maintenance or tuning. Internally, the design favors durability and consistency, with straightforward geometry and materials chosen for long-term use rather than cutting-edge refinement. What truly sets the Gen 1 Shield apart is the ecosystem that grew around it. Its massive popularity meant that holsters, magazines, sights, recoil springs, and spare parts became widely available almost everywhere firearms are sold. That level of support creates something many shooters underestimate: frictionless ownership. When a holster wears out, a replacement is easy to find. When a magazine gets lost, another is readily available. When a shooter wants night sights or a different carry setup, options are plentiful and affordable. That matters more in daily carry than minor performance differences on the range. As newer generations of the Shield and competing pistols pushed into the spotlight, the original Gen 1 quietly slid into the budget category. Current market prices frequently dip below $300, sometimes significantly, turning a once premium concealed carry pistol into one of the strongest values available. That price shift does not erase its legacy or capability. Instead, it makes the Shield Gen 1 accessible to a new wave of shooters who want something proven rather than trendy. It attracts people who prioritize consistency over features, confidence over flash, and real-world usability over spec sheet competition. The Gen 1 Shield is not exciting by modern standards, and it does not pretend to be. It does not chase optics cuts, high-capacity magazines, or aggressive styling. What it offers is something more enduring. A slim, reliable, well-supported defensive pistol that integrates easily into everyday life. In a market that constantly pushes the next iteration, the Smith & Wesson M and P Shield Gen 1 remains relevant because it solved the concealed carry problem correctly the first time, and for many shooters, that solution is still more than enough. Taurus G3C marks a turning point for the brand and earns its spot on this list by demonstrating just how much Taurus has evolved from its earlier reputation. Designed as a compact defensive pistol that balances capacity, size, and affordability, the G3C chambers 9mm in a polymer frame that manages to stay both slim and controllable while offering more firepower than many competitors in its price range. It feeds from 12-round magazines with one in the chamber, giving it a meaningful advantage over older single-stack carry guns without pushing it into bulky territory. Overall length comes in at roughly 6¼ inches, with a barrel measuring about 3.2 inches and an unloaded weight hovering around 22 ounces. Those dimensions place the G3C squarely in the compact category, small enough for concealed carry under light clothing while still large enough to shoot comfortably during extended practice sessions. In the hand, the G3C immediately feels more refined than earlier Taurus offerings. The grip texture is well thought out, providing traction without being abrasive, and the grip angle promotes a natural point of aim that helps new shooters get on target quickly. Recoil management is one of the pistol's stronger traits. The slide mass and spring tuning produce a recoil impulse that feels firm but predictable, avoiding the sharp snap often associated with smaller carry guns. One of the defining features of the G3C is its trigger system, which includes restrike capability. While restrike is not a substitute for proper malfunction clearing, some shooters appreciate the added layer of reassurance it provides, especially those still building confidence with defensive handguns. The trigger pull itself is long and deliberate, which can feel heavy compared to more refined striker fire designs. But that length also encourages intentional shooting under stress. Reliability has been a major focus for the G3C, and it shows in real-world use. Range reports commonly describe hundreds of rounds fired with only occasional hiccups, performance that would have been difficult to imagine from Taurus a decade ago. The pistol tends to digest a wide range of ammunition, from inexpensive practice loads to common defensive rounds, without becoming overly sensitive. Internally, the design favors durability and straightforward construction, prioritizing consistent function over refinement. Controls are simple and accessible, with a manual safety that some shooters appreciate and others ignore, depending on carry preference. The slide serrations are deep enough to allow confident manipulation, and the overall layout feels intuitive rather than experimental. There are compromises, and they are worth acknowledging. Some shooters report slide bite depending on hand size and grip technique, particularly during higher grip styles, and the trigger reset is not as short or tactile as more expensive pistols. These drawbacks are real, but they must be weighed against the context of the platform. The G3C is not trying to compete with premium compacts. It is trying to offer a complete, modern defensive pistol at a price point that remains accessible to working-class buyers. That is where it succeeds. Current street prices commonly land around $260, with sales frequently pushing the price even lower, making it one of the most affordable high-capacity compact pistols available. For that cost, buyers get a handgun that feels current, shoots predictably, and has proven far more reliable than its critics expected. The Taurus G3C does not erase the company's past overnight, but it clearly signals a shift in priorities. It is a pistol chosen less by collectors and more by people who want something practical, affordable, and capable of doing real work. In that role, the G3C delivers exactly what it promises: A no-excuses defensive handgun that proves progress matters more than reputation when lives and budgets are both on the line. Stoeger STR9 enters the conversation as one of those pistols that immediately feels familiar in the hand, not because it copies a single design outright, but because it borrows proven ideas and executes them with a focus on value rather than branding. Built as a striker-fired handgun chambered in 9mm, the STR9 feeds from 15-round magazines and sits squarely in the compact-to-duty crossover space, large enough to shoot comfortably while still manageable for some concealed carry roles with the right setup. Overall length measures just under 7.5 inches, paired with a barrel around 4 inches and an unloaded weight in the low to mid 20-ounce range, dimensions that give the pistol a balanced, stable feel during firing. From the first magazine, the STR9 tends to surprise shooters who expect compromise at this price point. The grip angle feels natural on presentation, reducing the need for conscious adjustment when bringing the pistol up on target, and the modular backstrap system allows shooters to fine-tune grip circumference to better match hand size without aftermarket parts. That attention to basic ergonomics pays dividends on the range. Recoil impulse is straight and predictable, with the slide mass and spring tuning working together to keep muzzle rise modest during controlled strings. One of the most frequently praised aspects of the STR9 is its trigger. For a budget-oriented striker pistol, the trigger offers a clean break with minimal creep and a reset that is shorter and more tactile than many competitors in the same category. That trigger behavior makes it easier for shooters to maintain accuracy during rapid follow-up shots without having to fight a heavy or gritty pull. Range testing commonly reports consistent accuracy at defensive distances, with groups that rival pistols costing significantly more. Reliability has also been a strong point in real-world use. Shooters routinely describe hundreds of rounds fired without malfunctions, even when using inexpensive practice ammunition, suggesting that the internal design favors generous tolerances and straightforward geometry rather than finicky tuning. Internally, the STR9 keeps things simple with solid slide rails, a conventional locking system, and components designed for durability rather than refinement. Controls are laid out intuitively, with a slide stop and magazine release that are easy to reach without being oversized or prone to accidental activation. The sights are functional and well-regulated for defensive use, and while they may not stand out, they do their job without distraction. Where the STR9 often struggles is not performance, but perception. Stoeger lacks the name recognition of larger American and European brands, which leads some buyers to overlook the pistol before ever handling it. That hesitation fades quickly for those who actually shoot one. Pricing varies by region and availability, but examples near the $300 mark represent a strong value proposition when capacity, trigger quality, ergonomics, and reliability are considered together. At that price, the STR9 delivers shootability that feels much closer to established duty pistols than entry-level compromises. It is not a platform surrounded by massive aftermarket support, and it does not benefit from decades of brand loyalty. But for shooters willing to judge the gun on its own merits, those limitations matter far less than real-world performance. The STR9 appeals to people who care more about how a pistol runs than what logo is stamped on the slide. It is chosen by shooters who want a modern defensive handgun that feels comfortable, shoots accurately, and holds up under regular use without draining a bank account. In that role, the Stoeger STR9 succeeds quietly, proving that capability does not require prestige, and that sometimes the only real barrier between a shooter and a solid tool is the willingness to look past the name on the box. Ruger Security 9 moves this list firmly into the do-everything category, a pistol designed from the start to cover multiple roles without forcing buyers to choose between capability and affordability. Built as a hammer-fired handgun rather than a traditional striker system, the Security 9 reflects Ruger's preference for proven mechanical simplicity paired with modern materials. Chambered in 9mm, it uses 15-round magazines and a polymer frame that balances size and control in a way that feels deliberate rather than compromised. Overall length comes in at roughly 7.25 inches, with a 4-inch barrel that provides a useful blend of velocity, sight radius, and recoil management. Unloaded weight sits around 23 ounces, which gives the pistol enough mass to feel stable during firing without crossing into heavy-duty only territory. In the hand, the Security 9 feels immediately approachable. The grip angle promotes a natural point of aim. The grip circumference works well for a wide range of hand sizes, and the texture provides secure purchase without becoming uncomfortable during longer sessions. Ruger's internal hammer-fired system gives the trigger a distinct feel compared to striker pistols in this price range. The trigger typically breaks cleanly around 5.5 pounds, with a smooth press that many shooters find easier to manage under stress than lighter, shorter striker triggers. That trigger behavior pairs well with the pistol's recoil characteristics. Recoil impulse is mild and predictable, aided by the longer slide, full-length grip, and 4-inch barrel, which together help keep muzzle rise control during rapid fire. On the range, the Security 9 consistently earns praise for shootability that exceeds expectations for a budget handgun. The longer sight radius compared to subcompact pistols makes it easier to maintain alignment during follow-up shots, and the factory sights are clear, easy to acquire, and well-regulated for defensive distances. Reliability has been one of the defining strengths of the platform. Reviewers and owners alike report the Security 9 running reliably with a wide range of ammunition, including inexpensive practice loads that often cause problems in more tightly tuned pistols. That forgiving nature reflects Ruger's design philosophy, favoring durability and consistency over refinement. Internally, the pistol uses straightforward geometry and robust components intended to hold up over high round counts without constant attention. Controls are sensibly placed and easy to operate, with a manual safety that some shooters appreciate for carry flexibility and others simply leave disengaged, depending on preference. The slide serrations are generous enough to allow confident manipulation, and the overall layout feels intuitive even to newer shooters. While the Security 9 is slightly larger than many pistols marketed specifically for concealed carry, that size works in its favor when versatility is the goal. It can serve as a home defense pistol, a range gun, and with the right holster and clothing, an occasional carry piece without feeling out of place in any role. That adaptability is a major part of its appeal. Current market pricing frequently dips below $300, sometimes by a meaningful margin, placing the Security 9 among the strongest values in its class. At that price, buyers are not forced to accept major compromises in reliability, shootability, or durability. Instead, they get a handgun that feels well thought out, easy to live with, and capable of performing consistently across different use cases. The Ruger Security 9 does not try to be the smallest, the lightest, or the most feature-packed pistol on the shelf. What it offers instead is balance. It is a handgun for shooters who want one tool that can handle most defensive needs without demanding constant upgrades or justification. In a market crowded with niche designs and rapid model turnover, the Security 9 stands out by doing something refreshingly simple. It works, it remains affordable, and it adapts easily to real-world use. For many shooters, that combination matters far more than chasing trends or specifications, and that is exactly why the Ruger Security 9 continues to earn a loyal following among people who value practicality over flash. Springfield XD Mod 3 OSP lands at number 2 as one of the more unexpected value plays in the current defensive pistol market, largely because it brings features that were once considered premium into a price range normally reserved for bare-bones designs. The Mod 3 OSP represents a deliberate refinement of the long-running XD platform, focusing on practical improvements rather than cosmetic changes. Chambered in 9mm, it uses a duty-oriented polymer frame paired with a steel slide that is factory cut for optics, eliminating the need for aftermarket milling and the added cost that usually comes with it. Overall length sits just over 7 inches, with a barrel measuring approximately 4 inches, and an unloaded weight in the mid-20-ounce range, dimensions that place it firmly in the compact duty category rather than true deep concealment. That size works in its favor once the shooting starts. The grip geometry has been subtly reshaped compared to earlier XD generations, offering a more natural point of aim and improved control under recoil. The grip safety remains part of the design, a feature that continues to divide opinion, but adds an extra layer of passive security without requiring conscious manipulation during the draw. In use, it disengages naturally as the hand establishes a firing grip, fading into the background rather than demanding attention. One of the most noticeable upgrades in the Mod 3 OSP is the trigger. Springfield refined the trigger system to provide a cleaner break and more consistent feel compared to older XD models, making it easier to manage during slow fire and rapid strings alike. Recoil impulse is smooth and predictable, helped by the slide mass and spring tuning, which keep muzzle rise under control and allow quick sight recovery. On the range, the Mod 3 OSP tends to feel more composed than many budget pistols, especially during extended shooting sessions where heat and fatigue can expose weaknesses in cheaper designs. Reliability has been a standout characteristic. Extensive testing and high round count reports consistently describe the pistol running without malfunctions, even when fed a mix of inexpensive practice ammunition and standard defensive loads. That kind of performance builds confidence regardless of price point and reinforces Springfield's reputation for durable service pistols. Internally, the Mod 3 OSP favors robust components and straightforward geometry, prioritizing consistency and longevity over tight tolerances that can become finicky over time. The slide serrations are deep and well placed, allowing confident manipulation even with gloves or sweaty hands. And the factory sights are usable out of the box while still coexisting cleanly with mounted optics. Controls are sensibly laid out, easy to reach without being oversized, and the overall layout feels familiar to anyone who has spent time with modern striker-fired handguns. Concealment is possible, but requires planning. The grip length and overall thickness make it better suited to belt carry under structured clothing rather than minimalist setups. That trade-off is intentional. The Mod 3 OSP is built to deliver duty-grade performance first, with concealment as a secondary consideration rather than the primary design goal. That focus shows in how confidently the pistol handles recoil, how stable it feels during rapid fire, and how forgiving it is across different shooting conditions. Pricing is where the surprise truly lands. While MSRP sits higher, real-world sales frequently push the Mod 3 OSP below the $300 mark, placing an optics-ready, duty-capable pistol within reach of budget-conscious buyers. At that price, the feature set feels almost out of place, not because it is excessive, but because it is so competently executed. The Springfield XD Mod 3 OSP does not rely on novelty or aggressive styling to justify its existence. Instead, it offers a practical combination of modern capability, proven reliability, and thoughtful refinement at a cost that challenges assumptions about what budget pistols can deliver. It appeals to shooters who want a serious defensive handgun with room to grow into optics without paying a premium upfront. In a market crowded with compromises, the Mod 3 OSP stands out by quietly refusing to feel like one. Palmetto State Armory Dagger earns the top spot on this list because it fundamentally changed what people expect from a budget defensive pistol, not by cutting corners, but by leaning hard into accessibility and long-term practicality. Designed around Glock Gen 3 compatibility, the Dagger chambers 9mm and immediately plugs into one of the largest and most mature handgun ecosystems in existence. That single decision shapes almost everything about how the pistol lives in the real world. The Dagger uses a compact frame size comparable to a Glock 19, with an overall length just over 7 inches, a barrel around 4 inches, and an unloaded weight in the low to mid 20-ounce range depending on configuration. Those dimensions strike a balance that works for both defensive carry and general duty use, offering enough grip length and slide mass to manage recoil, while remaining compact enough to conceal with the right holster and clothing. Ergonomics are one of the first things shooters notice. The grip is fuller than many Glock frames, with a more pronounced palm swell and an extended beaver tail that helps lock the hand in place and reduces discomfort during longer sessions. The grip angle feels natural to a wide range of shooters, and the texture provides solid traction without feeling abrasive against skin during daily carry. From a shooting standpoint, the Dagger tends to feel flatter and more forgiving than many expect at this price point. Recoil impulse is smooth and predictable, allowing controlled follow-up shots without fighting the gun. Reliability has been a central focus of the platform. Extensive testing and user reports describe the Dagger running thousands of rounds with minimal issues once past a short break-in period, often measured in a magazine or two. After that initial settling, the pistol has shown the ability to digest a wide range of ammunition, from inexpensive practice loads to defensive rounds, without becoming finicky. Internally, the design mirrors proven striker fire geometry, prioritizing durability and compatibility over experimental features. The trigger feel is serviceable out of the box, with a predictable press and reset that most shooters find acceptable. And for those who want something different, the aftermarket offers endless options thanks to the Gen 3 pattern. The Dagger ships optics ready, a feature that once commanded a significant premium. It includes metal sights rather than polymer placeholders, reinforcing the sense that this is a complete pistol rather than a stripped-down entry point. Slide serrations are generous and well-placed, making manipulation easy even with gloves or sweaty hands, and controls follow familiar layouts that reduce learning curve. What truly separates the Dagger from other budget pistols is access. Owners are not locked into proprietary magazines, obscure holsters, or limited parts availability. Magazines are everywhere. Replacement parts are inexpensive. Holsters, sights, triggers, barrels, and internal components are available from countless manufacturers at every price tier. That ecosystem transforms the ownership experience. The Dagger can start life as a basic defensive handgun and gradually evolve into something more personalized without forcing the owner to replace the entire platform. It rewards incremental upgrades rather than demanding them up front. That flexibility matters, especially for budget-conscious shooters who want to spread costs over time instead of paying a premium all at once. Current pricing frequently places the Dagger under $300, sometimes well under, depending on configuration and sales, a figure that feels almost disruptive when weighed against what the pistol offers. At that price, buyers get a reliable, optics-ready, duty-capable handgun that integrates seamlessly into the most common striker-fired ecosystem on the market. The Dagger does not try to pretend it is something exotic or revolutionary. Its strength lies in how unapologetically practical it is. It acknowledges that most shooters value reliability, familiarity, and long-term support more than brand prestige. It understands that access to parts and magazines matters just as much as how a pistol feels on day one. For many owners, the Dagger is not just a gun, but a platform, one that grows with them rather than forcing a replacement down the road. That combination of reliability, flexibility, and affordability is why the Palmetto State Armory Dagger finishes this list at number 1. It proves that budget no longer means compromise, and that smart design choices can stretch a dollar further than flashy features ever could. Taken together, these 10 pistols tell a simple story. Reliable defensive firepower is no longer reserved for premium price tags. From slim carry guns to duty-sized platforms with modern features, the market now favors function over flash. Whether your priorities lean toward concealment, modularity, or proven reliability, there's a sub-$300 handgun ready to earn trust. If this breakdown helped you see the budget shelf differently, stay tuned. More honest evaluations are coming, because good tools should be judged by performance, not price tags.